that you've peacefully rocked or fed your baby to sleep and it's time to just transfer them like a sleeping little angel into their crib, and surprise, their eyes pop open, they're awake, and they're crying, and you feel like you're back at square one. Well, I'm gonna tell you exactly why this is happening and what you can do to combat your baby waking up every single time you transfer to the crib. The number one reason why your baby wakes up every time you transfer them to the crib is because they simply don't have independent sleep skills. And that's okay for the first 3 months of your baby's life. Of course, while you're in that 4th trimester, you do what you need to do for everyone in the house to get sleep and to feel a little bit rested. I mean, you're never gonna feel like a brand new person when you have a brand new baby, but once your baby goes through that 4-month sleep regression, which is really a progression, that's a video for another day, but once they go through that sleep regression, their bodies are processing sleep in a different way. Their brain is processing sleep in a different way. So they really need to have that independent sleep skill, and you're going to notice around 4 months old, your baby is not going to have that ability to just sleep on the go wherever they are. The drive to sleep is going to be lower, and they're going to need independent sleep skills. Jumping into the second reason why your baby is waking up when they're put into the crib is because they're hungry. So maybe you were feeding your baby and they fell asleep, and maybe they didn't have a full feeding, so they woke up when you were trying to put them in the crib and realized, hey, stop, I'm still hungry, keep feeding me. Another reason why your baby might be waking up when laid into the crib is because they're uncomfortable. Now, of course, when they're falling asleep in your arms, that's like the most comfortable place in the world. Who doesn't want to fall asleep in somebody else's arms? But it's not realistic and it's not sustainable all the time for every nap, every sleep, everything possible. I talked to a mom yesterday who said, I absolutely love these cuddles, but there's a time and a place for it, and when the baby is sleeping, I need to be able to eat, I need to be able to shower, I need to be able to change my clothes. As opposed to having those cuddles as your baby is sleeping, it's better to have those cuddles when your baby wakes up. Anyways, that was a whole tangent about a different topic, but with being uncomfortable, maybe your child is too hot, maybe they're too cold, maybe your baby has reflux or silent reflux, where maybe that transition from being a little bit more upright to laying down flat on their mattress is causing some reflux in their esophagus, and they're like in pain and it's really uncomfortable. So that is definitely something to consider and look into. Now, reason number 4 why babies wake up when they are laid in their crib is because they are overtired. A lot of times this happens because your baby doesn't have those independent sleep skills. So they're waking more often, their sleep is more fragmented, and they're overtired, and it becomes a chronic overtiredness, resulting in waking up every time you lay them down in the crib. Now, just to throw it out there, sleep promotes sleep. So the better your baby sleeps during the day, the better they'll sleep at night. The better they sleep at night, the better they take naps during the day, and it is a cycle. It's either going to be an overtired cycle or a well-rested, well-adjusted child cycle. So definitely keep in mind your child's schedule and wake windows. Make sure your baby is not overtired. If you're enjoying this video so far, I hope that you will click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you get notified every time I put out a new video. I'm always putting out videos twice a week on baby sleep, toddler potty training, all things motherhood, and I love to help those around me and build a strong, supportive community here, so I would love for you to be a part of it. I am the owner of Slumber and Bloom. I am a pediatric sleep consultant and potty training coach, so definitely check out my website. The link's in the description box down below if you need help in either of those areas. Jumping into reason number 5 why your child wakes up when you lay them down for sleep is because they're overstimulated. Now, I can tell you about a story with my oldest son, who is now 9.5 years old, but every single time we had a holiday or a family birthday party or something we really had to go to, because I, believe it or not, as a sleep consultant, yes, I was very much a stickler on his sleep schedule, and people thought that I was crazy, but he was the happiest baby and he was getting great sleep. Anyways, if we were at a family event and we were late for bedtime, he would not sleep well that night, and it was because we would get home and we would try and put him right to bed and make up for lost time as well as we could. It turned out that as he got a little bit older, we were realizing It takes him a really long time to fall asleep when we get home from something. So what we ended up doing was realizing he was overstimulated from all the action at whatever party we were at, and giving him 30 minutes to just wind down, read some extra books, have some extra quiet time together, and then he would go to sleep really easily. So therefore, we kind of, process of elimination, realized that he was just super overstimulated and he just really needed that downtime, and maybe your baby is like that too. Reason number 6. Okay, this one's a doozy. If your baby is waking up in the crib, it might be because they're sick. Sometimes their symptoms are very much unsymptomatic, and it's very difficult to know if your child is sick if they're not presenting with like the typical fever or puking. Sometimes, like, maybe your baby's stomach is just upset, and maybe they have a sore throat, and maybe they have a headache, and they can't always communicate that. And of course, this can go for toddlers, older kids, like anybody who doesn't have the ability to communicate, but maybe they have some sort of sickness or something brewing that maybe they are starting to get sick and you just don't know it yet. Reason number 7 why your baby wakes when you lay them in the crib is maybe because they're teething. So this kind of goes with the discomfort, that if they are teething, then their mouth is uncomfortable and possibly in pain. So depending on your child's age, you may be able to administer ibuprofen, you may use some teething tablets, you may have some other strategies that you might use. But if your baby is teething and they need some extra comfort, sometimes that is something that happens more often in the night, that your baby will wake up in the middle of the night and need some extra comfort, and then just making sure that they're not falling asleep on you when you put them back in the crib, then they won't wake up when they go back in the crib because they didn't fall asleep on you in the first place. So of course, give your baby the extra comfort that they need, but just try to keep them awake. Before I jump into the next 3 reasons why your baby is waking every time you put them in the crib, I want to remind you that I have a free baby sleep guide in the description box down below. So grab that. You will get the free download immediately sent to your inbox, and then it's also going to trickle some information into your inbox over the next week. So hopefully that gives you all the sleep stuff that you need to get better sleep for your kid. But if not, I'm always here to make customized sleep plans and support you through making sleep changes at home. Let's keep going. Separation anxiety is a doozy. A lot of times that 7, 8, 9-month-old range is when your baby is developing object permanence. It is when they are realizing that even when you rock them to sleep and put them down in the crib, that you're putting them down in the crib and you are leaving and they don't want you to. So they're gonna wake up and they're gonna cry because they know that when you leave the room that you still exist, and if you exist, you should be with them all the time, right? Wrong. Your baby really just needs a little bit extra one-on-one time during your bedtime routine. So add one more story. If you're not doing a lotion massage before bed, do something like that. Infant massage, toddler yoga, anything that is one-on-one time where you're really bonding with your child, then that is going to help with the separation anxiety, as opposed to creating different habits that you may not be able to sustain, such as rocking them to sleep, putting them in their crib, and realizing that they're waking up as soon as you put them down or try to walk away. Reason number 9 is due to developmental milestones and sleep regressions. So they go hand in hand. When your child is learning a big new skill, they tend to have sleep regressions. Now, of course, that can relate to the 7, 8, 9-month sleep regression that is associated with separation anxiety, and that also coincides with tons of other things like sitting up, crawling, pulling up to standing. All those things happen in such a short amount of time. But also looking further out at the 12-month sleep regression, the 18-month sleep regression, those are very big developmental milestones happening around those ages as well. So when those things are happening and your baby is waking when you put them in the crib, make sure that your baby is getting plenty of practice for these skills during the day, so that they're not waking in the middle of the night and needing more support getting back to sleep. They should be using all that energy during the day so that they're sleeping well through the night and they don't need that extra support. Now, reason number 10 why your baby may be waking when you lay them down in the crib is because of the noise around them. So let's say, for example, you are streaming something on your phone while you are rocking your baby to sleep, and then you transfer them to the crib and whatever they were hearing suddenly stops. I really hope you're not doing this, but I've heard of too many families who are doing this. So I use it as an example. Don't have anything on in the first place except white noise. Therefore, the white noise will be a consistent noise that your child is hearing all night long, and it's not even something that they're consciously listening to. It is just there to drown out the rest of the noise of the house, so that when you put your baby in the crib and they fall asleep independently and not on you, they will have the white noise to drown out whatever you're streaming on the big screen once your kid goes to sleep. I hope this information was really helpful for you. Don't forget to grab your free baby sleep guide in the description box down below, and keep blooming. Mwah.